Hello, my name is Daarius Jackson, and I will be giving a public health announcement on Giardia and the effects and the biology of this parasite. What do we think of when we see a picture of water coming from the mountains, or what looks like clean water coming from an aquifer? I can only assume that we think that this water can be good enough to drink with no repercussions of infections. However, this could never be true. What could lie beneath the surface would be Giardia. Now, Giardia, which is also known in the United States as hiker's and traveler's disease, is a water-borne parasite that has been known to affect warm-blooded animals and humans all over the world. This water-borne parasites are a major cause of sickness and death that have a human and economic cost, most of all in developing worlds. Unfortunately, we have people living in substandard settlements that do not have the proper water sanitation and lack any of the proper sanitation tools to stop the water from being contaminated with pathogens. This problem isn't exclusive to third world countries. Modern countries all over the world, including the United States, have fell victim to this pathogen. Giardia has become one of the most common parasitic infections in the United States. The World Health Organization states estimates that in developing nations, 94% of the diarrheal diseases are linked to contaminated drinking water and substandard sanitation and hygiene practices. This parasite's outer shell, called cyst, can make Giardia survive long periods of time, protects the environmental stresses, which causes problems for countries that do not have the proper water filtrations. Giardia can reach multiple water sources in two ways. First, by animals in the area hosting watersheds that hold supply water in their fecal matter, and by human causes such as sewage water contamination. Domestic and wild animals are a huge factor in water being contaminated, such as beavers, after ingesting the parasite becoming a biological magnifier and passing hundreds of millions of cysts on a daily basis in the surface water. This formidable waterborne parasite develops cysts excreted or come from species that protect this organism from environmental stresses. Giardia cysts have been found in multiple sources such as wastewater, surface water, spring water, recreational water, groundwater, and drinking water. So no matter how clear the water may look on the surface, if you drink untreated water, you risk infection. Most people become infected directly by handling feces of an infected animal or human, or indirectly by drinking contaminated water from unfiltered water sources. Even mountain streams are not safe because they could be subject to infection by upstream fecal contamination by human or animals or Giardia infected animals. As I stated before, this issue isn't exclusive to developing countries. Surveys have proven that Giardia ranks in the top 20 infections in developing countries such as Africa, Asia, and Latin America, and estimates put this infections at 2 million per year in those parts of the world. Here in the States, the infection has been placed in 5 categories. People in cities whose drinking water originate from streams or waters and whose water treatment process does not include filtration or water filtration is ineffective because of malfunctioning equipment. Hikers, campers, and general people who are outdoors people like myself. 3. International travelers. 4. Children who attend daycare centers and the staff that work with them. 5. Homosexual males. The infections in categories 1 to 3 have the same sources in common because they take in a Giardia from contaminated drinking water. However, the people who reside in the cities are infected by shortcomings of their water treatment plants in their area that do not include the filters required to remove the parasite. International travelers could contract the disease from improperly treated municipal waters abroad. Peoples in categories 4 and 5 are infected by more direct means, such as handling feces in infected person, such as exposure to soiled undergarments in a daycare or old folks home, or through direct contact with anal areas such as sexual practices in the case of homosexual males. If you would allow me, I would like to quote Beatrice T. Hunter by saying, "Daycare centers have been dubbed the open sewers of the 20th century. According to the CDC, daycare centers have been found to be the most common source of Giardiasis infections. The numbers range from 21 to 44% of outbreaks in the United States are caused by daycare centers. One diaper is capable of containing millions of cysts, and many of them remain on hands and nails that have not been properly sanitized. Homes whose families used daycare center facilities had a higher rate of infections than homes that did not use them." Now that we talk about what and how this parasite can get into humans and the symptoms, yes, this protozoan parasite has been said to be an important waterborne pathogen to the environment. However, it's responsible for severe gastrointestinal illness called giardiasis. The symptoms from this illness range from nausea, severe diarrhea, and some cases of fever. Giardiasis has been known to cause intestinal symptoms that can last 1 week and beyond. The illness is accompanied by a combination of diarrhea, abdominal cramps, bloating, flatulence, fatigue, and weight loss. Now, there are 3 prescription drugs available in the United States to treat giardiasis. One would be quinaquine. Second would be metronidazole, and third would be furazolidine. In a recent review of drug trials on which the effectiveness of these drugs were compared, quinaquine produced a cure of 93% in patients. To fully comprehend how this parasite causes so many problems in our bodies, we must first look at the biology of this parasite. Giardia exists in 2 forms, which are trophozoite and a cyst. Trophozoites resides in the upper portion of the small intestines and use their disc-shaped suction pads on the ventral surface to attach to the intestinal wall. This is the area where the trophozoites feed and reproduce. The trophozoites release its hold on the bowel wall sometime during the life cycle, float in the fecal stream through the intestines, and transforms into an egg-like structure called a cyst that we mentioned before. This is the infectious form. To make matters worse, Giardia has an incubation period of 1 to 8 weeks, so detection may not be instant. To make matters worse, these parasites divide at an extreme rate. A single cyst divide may be by binary fusion about every 12 hours. This means that a single cyst will be ingested by a human. It can be multiplied to 1 million parasites in a matter of 10 days and 1 billion in 20 days. In conclusion, this parasite is a formidable foe and needs to be taken seriously. Caution, there is to be caution if you were to be hiking and drink water that's not been filtered, or work around fecal matter such as daycares or homeless shelters, or any other thing that you have to be exposed to soiled clothes. Matters have to be taken to sanitize your hands, or you can be subject to infections. I hope this public announcement has been useful, and thank you, and you have a great day. My references are as follows.